Pamodruba Javan Dogongba Gajulama Nanja Dajon Danandana Zera Damja Do Lama Lava Laya Jizozon Lazayon Dinjamzong Halawan Dendra Donjin Rebegale So Daga Lo Chuson Rover Zinja So Chua Lamdan Rover Zinja Lam Druva Zevar Zinja Labdo Zon Druva Shuzan Javar Zinja Labdo Zoi Kange Dinjan Javar Jong Kapa Me Baji Me Baji Ba Me Ba Tam O Me Bandro Me Bata De Do Me De Jime Druva Nye Jaden Ba Zobo Zanje Mananje Damba De La Janzar Du Pension Lama Jija goes on the Jizan, the Julan, the Gemba, the Zinja, Don Jajam Banda Branza, so Kanda Sojo Dongan Jadena, the Yelomar Jabakans, and the Tinderdam Beji Charm. Simbrando Badam Gender Jay, no more like a dollar don the Janga, Joanda Damiagan on down, Rogan Jetta Jazamba, Tam Jagad. Dage Juden do Nangwata Nyambus Sinjin Tamji, Dindelana me by Yanda Bazubu Sanji Jokom Bojo Toversa. The Juda Tambuju Gansi Zinde, Tonyam Salamar Jo, Nyambasamba Sanju, the Senji Badang, Chinimbe. Kulunda Gunju, Manava Gones Imbertar, de la Gansimber Service Chune. Tene nyami Gampopa Tenzin Jinzepe Lamcho Renxin Chengwa. De Hepa Gabri, Tene de la Terenta Gurmanda Pichu Yobananke Yibateri.
Picking up with these instructions from Gampopa in the Precious Garland of the Supreme Path, in the category of the 10 exhortations, we are on number 4.
Tanitela Korban Nimegla Samde Tarpa Drupa La Kurma Dabson Tangaranzo Sanjeji Kompang. Tobar Sibala, then Koala Ninjong Jego Yore. Koala Ninjong Machina, the young Sanje Kompang, Tomduke, and Dumbanabote, Jetogoyomare. Hine young Koala Ninjong Jetang de Jetang Koas in Dodoje Logala Yomare. Koa Hibate Susu Semnange, Jo Danzin, Mareba, Numumba, the Sola Timber, Neve, Munduba, Donghava, the Solan Koala Query. They do that the so Korba Darate, Dongak Jo. Marek the Danzi Lasoba, the Dala Tanduke Lote, the Ninkoa Tanduk Locha de Yuri.
Number 4 says, considering the defects of samsara, exhort yourself to accomplish liberation or nirvana. In order to reach the state of Buddhahood, in order to attain awakening, we have to give rise to a sense of renunciation with respect to samsara. If there is not the arising of renunciation, then there isn't the aspiration, the real wish to become free, the real wish to achieve the state of Buddhahood or awakening. it is so crucial to generate a sense of renunciation with respect to samsara. However, renunciation towards samsara is not so much a renunciation toward like a physically existent thing that we call samsara, but it is really more of a sense of renunciation with regard to the inner states of mind that cause suffering, the states of self-clinging, the mind of self-grasping and ignorance, the afflictive emotions or defilements that arise from that, and the fruition of those deluded mind states, which is suffering. So really, renunciation is the wish to get free from suffering and the cause of suffering, the mind of self-clinging and ignorance or unawareness.
Jerdang koalan tami sunkayore yinayang kanza suso la tuna koalan tayore kainzna susu danzin de pong teni nyumo ba pangna teni donga la tarka yore te inza koalan tayore kanza suso la tuna tang koalan ngimjong jetang te yang ga he ke o tang koa zu te donga ke jamso re sha san ne teni sem shomne ten soso rami jia dang tena yong siparwa ta tetso kowa la nginjong jia soso rami jidu de soso la so je kendwa suicide
rangshigya yeah
ta tetso no wachi de ta ko la nginjong ji tang de ta ton sungbai na te sa ta nge chu ju le mai na yang ta te sa non ro yore hirap ka mandang bare ko dongha in ba ha ko chadu ko la nimbo me ba ha ko chadu ta tampe chu jog go yore teni ko an de na jibo mundo se na teni tatse samalan ro du jibo yusa jiglan ro ya ta phi ji yore ten ro war se bala chu jog go gre teni soso ran she ja ya yo mare te le chap de chu jog go re teni le ka tang tanda jungze lu dong je na yang marik ba yo mare te to zo chi chu jog go soso ran she ja nyeng go yo mare mle rumbo chi top sa de te biju ya po tang go gre
So, generally speaking, it is said that there is no never any end to samsara, that samsara itself is beginningless and endless. However, from the perspective of the individual, or when it comes to the individual, there is a possibility for the end of samsara, the ending of samsara, because if an individual is able to uproot the mind of self-grasping and the defilements or afflicted mind states in their own mind stream, then there is an end to samsara for that individual. So for some, the mind of renunciation can lead to depression, and that if one is really thinking of a renunciation towards samsara as being really renunciation with regard to the like some sort of physical entity or place that we call samsara, and thinking, oh, samsara is nothing but an ocean of pure suffering, then it causes that person to become depressed. And it's even possible that that kind of approach could lead one to suicide, that they could actually become so disenchanted and depressed that that it leads to taking one's own life. But this type of renunciation towards samsara is really mistaken. It is it isn't that it isn't necessarily entirely like that renunciation isn't there, but it could be that there is renunciation, but it is without wisdom. And so when we become aware of the suffering and the essencelessness of samsara, rather than becoming depressed and despondent, this should instead incite us or inspire us to practice the Dharma. And so thinking, or having a sense or an understanding that we're not happy, that as long as we remain within this state, there will not be happiness, then we want to go to a state which will be happy, in which there is happiness. And so the way to do that is through Dharma practice or through spiritual practice. To take one's own life doesn't solve the problem, and there isn't any benefit that can come from that. Instead, through practicing Dharma, then one is really using this human life, this human body, effectively, or really giving it real meaning and purpose. So we have to treat the precious human body well and endow it with real meaning and purpose.
Megan Tonka Yore, Amcho Koko Yore, in Angatsutosola, Junju, Chijo Yomare, Zochiki, the Nije Gongoreta, Coranso, La Kanga, the Dunga Yonet, and Rawa Mebatana Charwa.
So, we all hear or know of people who have committed suicide, who have taken their own life. And so it's very important not to look down on them or to judge them for having done so, but instead to have real compassion, because these individuals, in a state of real suffering and despair, without any freedom or ability to have, control over, to have self-control or to real freedom to choose, were driven to such extreme measures. And so it's important to feel compassion for them.
Korve simjin je donga la samde jancho je sem junga la kurmandapso. Da korve simjin da tamje ngarang choke pama majeba jikjang yomare. Tene pama jeba de datak ngarang cho pama ke ngarang cho la tato dang roba dang zewa jibde nangwa yindo tene simjin tamje ke tene ngaranzola tanda ke kadin chimbo jang yore ten zang tene ngaranzo ko koranzola jamjin je gongogure kain sena pama simjin tamje de dan danger je sam molama tanda ja tene tanda chene zo chikyu de dambo jangcho ke semla Bezun Zorwa the Jebugon is Janchuk Semglo Jangde. Tini Gale Galata Kor Ngaranzo Zamling Hibdi Molan and a song Yorwa Jula Janchuk Simcho Rimbo Che Ngangi Jine song. They take the bed, thanks about your Ngangi Jine zone the Combezor Magubang Hukuk Jeta Pateta Loa Comne. Tanda goje da karchimbore tene simjin tan
Kungta yangchar jula
joding around to sem ge jula jancho semcho romboche tene ngang ge jine zon de ko bebzor mag bangang hyuk ge ranging ge jeyong ba de ta par de lo gom go yore ten de ta jancho ge sem de sosu jula jene tene simjin tamje tene donghag jam so la twar sho nyamba tene tanda ka kulong janchok semte da namyang mandra bachi go yore so
So then, number 5, considering the suffering of beings and this samsara, exhort yourself to cultivate bodhicitta in your mind. By contemplating the fact that of all the sentient beings, as many sentient beings as there are, they have all been our own mother or father at some point in time or another. There's not a single one who has not been close to us in that way. And so just as we would want to help our own parents, just like we have love for our own parents, then we can have that same attitude, that same loving regard and kindness toward all sentient beings, recognizing their great kindness to us. We should train in developing love and compassion and meditating on love and compassion in the ways that have been mentioned earlier on. To always make aspiration prayers for the happiness and well-being of all our mother and father sentient beings. So it is important to make a concerted effort in developing bodhicitta to begin with. We have to train. We have to make an effort to train and to develop this precious mind state little by little. And then eventually, as it gains momentum, eventually it's something that arises on its own spontaneously. So as is said in the aspiration prayer for world peace, the mind, the supreme mind of precious bodhicitta arises from within. So eventually it is a spontaneous arising that doesn't require any effort. It just arises all on its own naturally because of the habituation that we have developed through meditation. And to support this, then we always can make the aspiration prayers that all sentient beings, when this mind state is a natural and spontaneously present way of being, then just naturally in our own mind stream there is the deep wish to see all sentient beings liberated from the ocean of suffering.
Tati ote dane simjinje lo chinje lo don churpa la samde tusam la kurma dapson. Ta kantar kamsong ko andala lo chur zenare ko andala te ngaranso dong hawa la dewan zin mata pa la takpar zin tanda ke lo te yung ya te ngaranso ke juk marik pate ke drep songzang teni te ke teni ngaranso ke yang ta penne lo ha ko yo mare tenda yanza yang ta penne lo ha ko ya la teni tusam la tusam nango gri song teni tuba ke pinyon ta yong tin kong hyu sin bare teni samba te yang kong mambo hyu yo bare chamen ching ke yore so che hyu te ta ngaran so 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 ke tu yong ba de la teni sam no tang hong ko zini dong hawa yen ba teni to so panja nyumo barre la nimbo kangdang kangti ne pangu ba teni nimbo ko pangcha du so so ranju la nyamda topa ji yong ba na gong de pewarship tap de chola tine o te go ai ba tena go chang teni tusam la ko bang da song
So then number 6 is considering the existent evil thought in the minds of sentient beings, exhort yourself to hear and reflect the Dharma. So actually, an alternative translation, or how I might translate it myself, would actually be considering the delusion of sentient beings' mistaken minds, exhort yourself to study contemplation, to study and contemplation. And so, as is said, the minds of sentient beings throughout the 3 realms of samsara, or cyclic existence, are deluded. So they are mistaken concepts based on delusion, and in samsara there is the constant delusion or mistaken perception of, for instance, taking that which is actually suffering to be the nature of happiness, or mistaking that which is actually impermanent to be the nature of permanence. And so there's all of this confusion based on the obscurations of ignorance. And so because of the delusion present in the mind stream of beings, we do not recognize the completely perfect nature as it is. In order to understand or recognize the completely perfect nature, we have to engage in study and contemplation to begin with. So we have already discussed a lot earlier the qualities that arise from study or listening, as well as the qualities that develop as a result of contemplation. So first, through extensive study or hearing of the Dharma, familiarizing oneself with the Dharma, then one turns to what one has learned through reflection or contemplation. So, for instance, understanding that samsara is the nature of suffering, then we reflect upon the ways in which samsara indeed is the nature of suffering, and how to abandon that suffering, or what needs to be abandoned in order to become free from suffering, and what are the effective ways to rely upon or apply antidotes. And so in this way, through constant study and reflection, or hearing and contemplating, then experience and realization starts to develop and increases. So this is an important method in generating or deepening experience and realization.
Pangwar Kavala Samde Gomdrup La Kermandapso. To some chandu Panja Nyumbada dancing Kang Bahako. The Ninko and the Langaranson Trudu Bahakondu. The Nitela Nibo Kanda Kanting go Hakoa, the Nachagrawa. That day Hako Tadu in Hakoa Zamki, the Niti and Trova de la Santup Goyomare. Jumsing Garnisina Truvate, then Junbo, Metze Mambo, Nana Gom Swa Indu, then Pachanda or the Tangsabo. Re Tenda in Santate Power Sepalayan, then Gumdrop Yamlin Chine, then Yamlin and Yama Chek down to Su Chek la Chepa Zank Mandangwa, then Jun Tune, then Yamnila, that Shukja Gogori songs.
So then number 7 says, considering the difficulty of abandoning the habits of evil thoughts, exhort yourself to practice meditation for giving up them. So another way to translate this would be, considering how difficult it is to abandon deluded habits, exhort yourself to engage in practice and meditation. So as the preceding line is really focusing on or dealing with the activities of study and contemplation, this next line is addressing the need for actual practice or meditation. So once through study and contemplation, we have understood well what needs to be abandoned or given up, and we have understood well the nature of the delusion or confusion of samsara, and we have understood well the nature of the antidotes or what antidotes need to be applied. However, understanding well in itself will not be enough in order to actually be able to overcome the delusion, to abandon or get rid of delusion. And as we have wandered for many inconceivably vast periods of time, or we have wandered since beginningless time in samsara for a very long time, we have developed a really thick karmic imprint for delusion. And so therefore, it is necessary to really purify these habits of delusion or these thick karmic imprints through practice, through actual practice. And it isn't enough to just practice one time, for one day or for 1 hour, but we have to practice continuously at all times. Our practice has to become a continuous, unbroken continuity of practice.
Samte nimbola kurma dapso. Ta tara nimma tundar, tene nyomomba ta chazogolo zomta miba, tanda yongdogari, ta tetavel samno tangde, the so tamche la nimbo tingo gris. Tene nimbo teang, Tata Numong Jin Yumbaina, Katok, Nimbotina Yabo Yori, Lalin Subduman and Son Yori. Numong Tisoji Yuma Tata, Teni Da Ma Captain of Jan and Nimbotingo and Matoke, Teni Numomba Deta, Ya Pakchan or things about Chatsana, Teni Pangarsibala Pe, Kable Yori son. Teta Chigbari, Teni Da Nimbola. Tinjo te karchimbori, sinyumon kanda kang jinja. Hedang la hedang ke nimbo. Chado la chado ke nimbo. Marek bala marek pe nimbo yorwa.
So then number 8 says, considering the result of the defilements in this age of decadence, exhort yourself to prevent bad deeds, or in preventing bad deeds. Let me just look up that one. Oh, wow. So in any case, in this degenerate age, or in the Kali Yuga, there is a really strong propensity among beings for coarse and continuous arising of afflictive emotions. And so as that is the case, then one needs to apply the antidotes. One has to rely upon applying antidotes. And it is important to apply the antidotes as early on as possible when an afflicted mind state or defilement arises. So as it says in the 37 Bodhisattva practice, applying the antidote the moment that afflictive emotions arise is the Bodhisattva's practice. If it is that we don't catch the afflictive emotion when it first arises, and then it builds in its strength and momentum, then it becomes all the more difficult to reverse it or to abandon it. And so it is so important to develop the ability to quickly apply the antidote the moment that the defilement surfaces. And to apply the appropriate antidote. So when anger arises, apply the antidote that is appropriate for anger. When jealousy arises, apply the antidote that is appropriate for jealousy. When there is mental darkness or ignorance, apply the appropriate antidote to ignorance or unawareness.
Tani gobat ning tundar ngarchi mangwa la samde supa la kermandap so ta ning tula pe jin parche mambo yore tani to sola chi yang chi semhyok cha ne tanda maje pa chi ne tani to sola zupa knyamni chi go yore so tani chertang ning ma chi ba de tani tse ning ma ta ba yina teni ta tsela parche pe mambo ta taraperna ne amla so banda solo song tawa ina pe terindo teni tsu nyumomba nima so chirtang ne na cha thamche perna peking ke na cha ta ina jungkhong rawo te timok cha de yori mare ba teni tarate long na cha yore da long na cha ro na zo den do cha cha de yore ten tripa la so ban de chun na cha de zo chi hu he dang la tho de yore wa den za da nyumong ba ra ren yu ne na cha de so mang ren ro de meng za ya me be na cha ten sim jin ni ma zen de ten sim jin tham je la je so so ran du zo chim bo nga jar zo chim bo tan da jin cha ro ne chi sem la ning jin ra wo ta tanda jia de nyung cha yong go ba teni ta tu ni ma zen na tu che ta la ni ji da ni ju che yo ma re de da zo chi hu ma na go ro bo chi su ma na yin ma tham je ke ji dang le dang ju ran ro ndu teni nga ran zo ga tu jer sung go yo la ko yo wa de ta ba de ta wa ni ma zen de ta je de sa ya bo tsende ke che tambe chu ke te na hie na le jim de la tsu song jing ken dang tsende ge wang de se na ya rap ju zang jing ken dang tene che tambe la chu dum ken da tam je la na chong da na mi de tsende ke che ni de tra tu la so ba la de ji ma tam je la de ni thong jing dang tan da cha ro ko yo ba ta den tan da ke ni ma tsende ke
de ya po ko ma song
tsende la che so so ke tam ni ra ro tang de ni ranger yin pam le ka len du kin tam je la de ni so so sim te ni gabo mi na yang de ni ngo ga chi pe le shi de ni jong du ro ta de ta ta tan da ke che jin be ke kan ta ya sam na la chi wa dan de wa lu po chi na jiang me ba tan da ka nga mang bo yo cha ta zo chi ke de zu ba gom je kar chim bo re so 동화 담제라 동화 담린 그 주바 당 가장 공이 해바나 인데
So then number 9 says, considering the many unconducive conditions present in this age of decadence, exhort yourself to be patient. So in the time of the Kali Yuga, or the degenerate age, there are many adverse and unfavorable conditions which are rampant, and many obstacles that arise. And so in the face of all of this, and not becoming discouraged, then the practitioner can practice patience, use it as an opportunity opportunity for increasing patience, applying the practice of patience. So in the age of degeneration, the lifespan of beings is degenerated. So there are many potential obstacles that can arise or occur to shorten lifespan. Likewise, there is rampant sickness or disease, and likewise, there are very strong and coarse and rampant defilements or afflictive emotions in streams of beings. And the illness and the afflicted mind states or defilements are directly connected. So as it makes sense that as the afflictions increase, or as we are in a time where the afflictive emotions in the mind streams of beings are particularly powerful and virulent, that likewise the illnesses, the various types of illness would also increase among sentient beings. So for instance, illnesses that are based on an imbalance of phlegm, the constitution of phlegm, or the phlegm element. These types of illnesses arise due to propensity or increase unawareness or ignorance, and the illnesses that are connected with imbalance in the wind energies. These come about through the afflictive emotion of desire or lust, a strong propensity of desire. And then those illnesses that are connected with bile are the result of a strong anger or hatred. So in this way, of course, as the three poisons increase, likewise, the different types of constitutional imbalance, which lead to all the many types of illness, would also increase. And there are many new illnesses that even lack names, or those which have never been seen before. And sentient beings in the period of degeneration also are very stubborn. They're very stubborn, and they have a great deal of arrogance and are really self-centered. And those who have genuine love and compassion are few. And so these are the results of living in the time of degeneration, or these are the kind of the product of the Kali Yuga. However, it is not the time itself really that is degenerate, but it is really the mind streams of sentient beings, and through their degeneration, these stimulate all of these degenerative effects. So as Guru Rinpoche says, because of the karma of sentient beings, when the karma of beings declines or deteriorates, then likewise the mind streams of beings, the five types of degeneration, are expressed or present themselves. And so by increasing one's as sentient beings, if in the time of degeneration, sentient beings increase their wisdom with regard to karma, cause, and effect, if their goodwill increases, if one generates or increases goodwill, then these also have favorable effects. And so when in the midst of these times of degeneration, and witnessing, noticing the product of degeneration in the times of degeneration in one's own mind stream, and then correcting them or applying the appropriate antidotes, and then practicing patience with regard to the way that these aspects of the degenerate times are expressed externally or in others. When others are focusing on their own victory and defeating others, and so on, then to really focus on generating patience, on establishing a state of, being peaceful and relaxed, and practicing patience, especially in these times, is very important. Also, there are the many ways in which Khenpo has already discussed practicing patience or persevering in the face of difficulty or suffering.
Teni ta chubade. Pariyeng churiyeng yingma lamla misi tongze to songla samde zundula kurmadap. Ta deji kapso ta zundu zomya de karchimbori. Ndeke kare tinki yuri hibayina. Ta mteke tenda chikindo ya chikin ma chikisa mala paka chode judo jiyat. Tani yang tsar susu nanglo ke namdon ra manda zone tani teki jisin rangne. Te so ta pariyeng churiyeng labda ta tandarwa. Te taba ko kenam yang jingangla tani yang rodu tani metsen dena tani lamsang zon roya jiri. Tani metsen de lamsang zo songwa ina yang dampe chu dang. Nyamdola metsen de zo songwa ina donda dimbari de teni tanda wine namyen kinyam de meche zo sona o ta teni ta meche de ndrewa kayang me bangane zo sonwa ta we jiri ndrewa yapo zambo kayang me bangan zo sonwa ta we inza teni ta zungdu zonggoris teni mayeng pan sanje kunja lam sond mayeng pate timba mayeng pate ang zungdu la la de yuris.
So then on number 10 says, considering the emptiness of worthless activities, do not waste your valuable human life, but exhort yourself to be diligent. So here the instructions are to be diligent, and how important it is to foster diligence. So when we are distracted by the faults and activities of others, and we get kind of, we stick our nose sort of into others' business, thinking, oh, this person over here is doing this and that person over there is doing this and that. And then inwardly, we have a bunch of discursive thoughts or proliferating thought forms that are generated, and we just follow after them. Then this is what is referred to as being distracted, both outwardly and inwardly distracted. And so if we spend this life in a state of distraction, then before we know it, this life will be over. It will be quickly exhausted. If our life is quickly over, quickly exhausted, and we are throughout our life, we are focused on Dharma, then we feel that despite the fact that this life was very short, it was a life well spent. It was a life that was made truly meaningful. However, if our life is quickly exhausted in a state of distraction, then we will feel that this life was really wasted, that we didn't have a life that really brought about or produced any real fruit, any real worthwhile fruit, any wholesome or good fruit. And so, as is said, non-distraction is the path of all the Buddhas. And so in order to have non-distraction or to maintain a state of non-distraction, we need to apply diligence.
Tambote deba chonla hirap chena kahi enkindun chorwa yinso. Ta kantar deba si judebe tso chembore deba de kunzup jiwang de seba yina le jumre la yi chi be deba go yore. Tani tondam jiwang de chena yang taba tawa la tani ichi ke deng ni ba deng chorto to jawa sungdo te ta ko ne te pa te kandar lo tin pe cha re ngarang chu gomja de sarwa tin ba zon de tin pe cha de te pa te tin pe cha cha de yore ten zang tene tanda ke te pa te tin bo ta te pa chung chung ina hirap jibo ke toni tene chu nyamle je na re lega kang le ba ina tene ta pen ka ke hi na kebo cha de wa zama to don ju to ne nyamslin to ba mare so mare de na dan de de ba da hirap sungjer ka toni chu nyamle je na re ji tin ke lega kang je ba ina ko jir dang hirap dang lo za tin bu ton le ndu ko de la chum de ya yorwa
Gongda Jimati, Young Sungpa.
Jiting Katoni Nayang Hirap Sosota Hirap Biju Tang Namju Biju Tang de Teni Loza Timbo Ngani Lo Tabitsawa Mayin Bachi Teni Lega Kang Le Jang Yapo Yongo Yorin Jiting Toni Te Chu Tona Teta Jibarawa.
Then that completes the 10 exhortations, and then next we have the 10 deviations from Dharma. So this word that is translated here as deviations also can sometimes be translated as chasing after or sort of falling into. So the first one, if one has little faith and sharp intelligence, he remains as a speaker forever, which is a deviation. So an alternate translation would be, for some with little faith but a lot of wisdom, they fall into or chase after verbal proficiency or knowledge. And so here, the emphasis is on the need for faith. So faith, it's very important to have faith. From the perspective of the relative truth, it is important to have real confident faith with regard to the truth of karma, cause, and effect. From the perspective of the ultimate truth, it is important to have a really confident faith, really deep certainty of faith with regard to the completely perfected view. And so faith is such an important attribute or quality. It actually increases the stability of the mind. So in meditation, we speak of the aspects of clarity and the aspects of, stability or support. And so the faith is what increases the aspect of stability. So actually, this is in the. I think he is speaking of here in the context of the qualities of the generation stage, like the aspect of clarity and the support of divine pride, for instance. So it is faith that increases the support aspect or the stability aspect. So if there is a little faith and there's only wisdom, then even though someone may be very skilled at, explanation or verbal proficiency, they won't really accomplish the completely perfect Dharma. So we'll only be left to, real sort of sophistry or expertise in speaking. So even in a worldly sense, that it is necessary, even if one has a great deal of wisdom or knowledge, one still has to have stability. One has to have a stable mind. If the mind is kind of nervous and all over the place, then one will not be able to accomplish one's intended objectives. So with whatever work or activities at hand, it's important to have a sort of this stability or this mind of faith, let alone Dharma activities. So it's the same, of course, when it comes, it's important to have in the context of Dharma.
Tepa chela hirap chungna dukzar ante sunchurwa yinso. Ta namba sanje ba ke chu gang rabai na dimba nila tine sunkadwa sanje ke kunzo gu dimba. Tapdang, dondang ke dimba, tapjong tapda tapjong za sunkayore. Pinsun jikda jik ropa jen. Tina yinke pena jaje ke porgo yona shokwa nikowa na yinke. Ngarang chuchuan de deba tang hirap nikar karchimbori mado yang deba chikpo zo zone tini hirap chune nyamli manang bayina tini be utsuk kincharo gris ngarang kang samba de ngarang samya de yin san de tel reve mina yang ten tel utsuk jin dong ke yorwa de limba utsuk jin de tena charo go yore song
Kongtati Tesa yapoko masong.
Chapchang line so karisa sonchik. Magos karere.
Mare di utsu rangla utsu her ushu di yapoko di sekoma.
Lumbo utsuk labdeda. Suso ka kang sambati san tenne lok da mantun pa yin yang tikala te karela goro ta je ne tikala ro no kenji yoro. Nghe cắn là bà tiền ngang là ya tiền đấy điu sang đồng khi chịu ra mà nó cắn chế bà tiền đấy điu sang
So then the number 2 says, if one has deep faith and little intelligence, his effort goes meaningless, which is a deviation. Okay. So the Buddha taught the two truths. So in at the heart of the Buddha's teachings are the teachings of the two truths: the relative truth, and the ultimate truth. The relative truth as the method, and the ultimate truth as the sort of the ultimate source of the method. And so both of these support one another or sort of assist one another. So they are interrelated, they are interconnected, and they assist one another, the relative and the ultimate truth. And so, like a bird, it is necessary to have two wings in order to be able to fly. So it is necessary to have both faith and wisdom. It is not helpful to have a strong abundance of faith with a little or no wisdom, nor is it helpful to have a lot of wisdom or intelligence and no faith. So to just have a faith without any wisdom leads to being sort of stuck in mistaken perceptions without really recognizing the fault of one's own kind of misconceptions. So thinking whatever, my view or my way of thinking is how it is, and this is this is enough. This is just fine how it is. I am the way that I think is the way it is, without really understanding how it actually is or the true nature. And so without feeling the necessity to investigate or examine further, one falls into a sort of stubborn complacency. And this is the result of not having sufficient wisdom or intelligence.
Kepa ja yuna yang mata song yori kain sena kepa ja tambala mata bejimsin te ndekhe jasa yori nde marin deris ndekhe jasa yori tene koran so kwa longres ina lumbo chekla nga ta so mulumbo tene otsukji tanda machi ina nga ta khandos nga he khandos jimsin kain sena kozola kola ndekhe jana jasa yo maris the marin there is in the here jana korang lumbo ko hirap de chungchong yin zang de korang gang samba de mato di yinda gang jelam na de tin mari lagris den de lan de here jasam dos de ke de kola tab danga ra tong to pham dos ka le ka bon dos so yora.
So there was a learned one or a learned teacher of the past who said, I don't fear the wise or the sort of those who are really knowledgeable, even if there are hundreds of them. I don't have any fear. I don't fear them because they can be open to logic and reasoning. So if something is explained to them well, then they can understand. What I fear are those who are blind, because those who are blind, meaning those who lack wisdom or who don't have much intelligence, are stuck in their own view without any openness to explanation. So they think the way that I think is the right way, and they are completely incapable of sort of deviating from that, no matter how well another view is expressed or explained to them. Because they lack intelligence, they just think my way is the only way, or my view is the only view. And there is no getting through to them, no matter how well one's reasoning is explained. And so these are the most difficult.
Tene sumbade niru chela danga mina juntang ko saran chorwa yinso. Ta niru chimbo yo katab jebe nevin bala den ta tra che de ba ina yang. Then Dangwa Lama give him the Sanjela Sobake Sumbu Chu Dangwa Mina. Then he that gom jam Capsoya gom de la Corsa the Norsa Mambo Yonka Yorova. Titility in it any teaching Yonka Yoriso. Then I is the Dangwa la de Tanyamlin King Tamji, Lama give him Zachin the Zendoya, so chicky there to took Lama give him in the Dangwa, the Minga Mambo Tabne, then is so que Nyamli the Gondova, then Tara Chondova, that can't non church Nyamnang Ramadatin, then Sozoke Namto Ramada Hyoyomba, then the Sola Kanda Imba, then in Namto Kanda Sergo Yoba, Tendake, Dangwa the so Yugo Gorimato, then Dangwa the Misona, then young the Sozoke Lam Norsal and Drone, then Tara Sanji Compound, Jancho Sambala Sobok, Salam Damji Duya Galakapo Yoris.
So then number 3 says, in the lack of instructions, a courageous person takes to evil and faulty ways, which is a deviation. So another way to translate this would be, for those with a lot of courage, but lacking in pith instructions, they deviate into error and states that have gone astray. Even though one may be, have a lot of courage and really be, courageous with regard to the practice and practicing asceticism and abiding in solitude and so forth. If they don't have the pith instructions, then there are many possibilities or many ways in which their meditation can go astray or become mistaken or an error. And so for that reason, it is important to practice according to pith instructions that one has received. So when it comes to practice, one who is a practitioner must rely on the pith instructions that they have received in the presence of their spiritual teacher, in the presence of a qualified spiritual teacher. So receiving many pith instructions from one spiritual teacher, then if one puts those instructions into practice, if that is really what it is that one is practicing, then there's no danger of going astray. Then one's meditation will not deviate or fall into sort of mistaken states of meditation.
Oh, yeah. Tenita
Namto Gongta, no, Adiko, sorry, Mare Gongta, the Namto Ramandala Garisungin?
Ale Namto Gom Jadu Nyam Hang Ramra Chiangro Nyam Ramra Haryungroa. Then the Sola Lama gives him then Rone Kanda Kai Park and Sure. Then it's Sosok Lama gives him Danga so Nyamselin. The Rachi Golemato, so Nyam Ramra Han to Samsang also take Jason Rang, then it's Jung Chimpo Zonki, the Ramambo Yonkure.
So especially when engaging in practice, it's possible that very strong experiences could arise. So there are all sorts of things that can occur, all sorts of strange and powerful experiences that can arise from meditation. And so in order to properly deal with those, one needs pith instructions, to rely on pith instructions from one's teachers. So as those experiences experiences occur, then one goes to one's teacher and asks the spiritual teacher about them, and then receives the fifth instructions. Without that, then if one has all sorts of experiences that occur in meditation, it's possible that one can follow after them, or that one can follow under the sort of power of the experience itself, and then there are all sorts of complications and faults that can arise as a result of that. And so in order to avoid going down mistaken paths in practice, if one doesn't have fifth instructions, then it's quite possible that one's practice can really deviate in such a way that that the practice doesn't end up resulting in liberation and perfected Buddhahood, and one won't be able to progress on the paths and bhumis.
Perna pula tanda lap tu yore sampa ga he samle yo de gekong ramne tanda mo tolo mi pa halam je na kin ro tanda hyang ko sara thong ko sarang us te kha he de la he nang je ne tini he nang da ngam ra de ke tini na cha zon ro sarwa tini ga he ke de la nda ben nga chu nak cha ke rumo tre yo du ti zu bo de gan la tini Take Yamnang Ravada, say and do, Ni Ravada, say Sadu, then Soso Zupungula, the Ravana, Nasak remote here, but and younger Yorusundoa. Gahet in it tell a Hedang long, control son, didn't tell the young Chazogolo, tell around so Jala so batayan, Sunchala so bat, Devia, the dark Jujin, so young, the Raven. Mejun song de wa tanda yong ko yore sung do wa lap tu yore tanda kajun ra wo je la te ngu ne so yin ju re de ko kare na yong si bar ba de de minga zu ji de kar chen bor da nga
Kung ta nga ya posh ra ko ma song yang chapter shi ga ko sare kung ta
ka yin ne ta te bula da je lap tu yore is lap so yore is Sampang Gahe Samla Yung Dudu Korang so Gekong Ramne Halam Jen Rawajit and I Harang Sari Tonka Sari Tong Du Sampang Gahe de la Henang Jene, then Soso Semla, then Simju on Sem Tantang Me Bachandoya Nyumba no Chandoya, the Nayunka Sari Sampang Gahe. Then tell Hedang Lang Yang Penata Dola Soba Huyatang, the Nachi Hisari. They tell the young Soso do Hu debate and a channel Sarva Soso Macha. Then Gaheke Gekons and Ton de and our young Gare Yazo Garena Tella Natsala Soba remote Rayos Zubu de Gana Natsa J Hakura.
Ink club ink
remote
pen
remote yana supodigala teni soso ti gom jan de banyamni chin do bateni yan sam yo ondu nyamni ti sam ya chadu teni soso zupo la ta andu soso zupo ngula te naksa la so ba remote ye ya ba ta hi ten chunhang ri de wa tena nyamnang ram ra je sara teni dangwa mi na teni
the so la remote trip the shara ya poko kamindo tampo teni kache ge kongso the naksa rimo rang la chine teni samja du teni soso yimba the day the soso ge natsa ge yip dang chikpa drawo yimba re hako kare poko ma song
temar soso ke zupung gang la te tiyo remote soso zupung gang tiyo resea ta donda kare hekersin solo la nangdo wa tamje soso ke sem ke chomtrari ma do solo la yo mare te ko gomja de nyamnang ram na jegeris te ke netan ha ko ya danga te mina teni solo ke yor te la dimbar zin ro solo ke yor tinguneri re tinguneri te teni
Yeah, ini yang tadung tendati zupo la rimo tua ke pento kande yopa yapo koma song.
Pinto che yo marita so che Tati dong de pache yang sama te ya ke dong saba ji hie chola.
No, be yapo mare be yapo tu ti ko tu na be yapo yore kongta.
Penang teni nga ke nga da gom ja de na yang nga mari da te nge pe da pe chorang la pe ya gro ta nga da chi gom ja de na ge khong da ni ma jin thong nang yung ga ris nga sem la ma de nang de nga ma de le hian hang ji ke yo mari ina nga ke nak za ke ro mo je zai yo ren ma de zu bo gang la teni nge ke chi ga mari de nga gom ja
Mi gi ta ha ko song. Yeah.
oh yeah
Okay, lasso. So I apologize. I was just was an interesting story, and I was missing an important part. So for instance, sometimes it can be the case. So it's said that, for instance, in Tibet, for many who are retreatants, they can have experiences that happen where they see like some figure, like a naked figure by their window. And then they think that this must be a demon, and some become really frightened, and then they actually become so scared and frightened that they can even become mentally unstable. They can actually kind of go crazy. But for some, if they have the pith instructions, then they will but for those individuals who become really frightened and scared and think that it's a demon, they might throw stones at the demon, or even stab the demon with a knife, and then actually what they end up doing is actually hurting themselves, like stabbing themselves. But for others who have really sort of stability in the pith instructions, then they will take ink and draw like a pattern on the person, on the figure. And then when they wake out of their meditative state, when they rise from their meditative state, then they will see that there is ink drawn on their own body. And so in this way, it's really important to understand, to have the pith instructions for cutting through, such very kind of powerful and strange experiences that can arise. If they're not the pith instructions, then one can just go into, spin into a state of delusion where there are all sorts of potential for going astray, or really for greater problems to arise.
Danga sejude pe karchimbori. Deni chetang ngarang su lobjong jantang ko thon samna tangwa ina ya gigin ke lobjong jantang lob de labja yoro te karchimbori no. Ya tela dongje yore. Pugi yore se pe zunru chimbo yore se. Eko chuchu sumba sani ya lang ne. Deni ngarang su solar light ndo tena shabla. Loku shabla dan da inji jang deke sarwa. Te gegin te chan te hyoba ngapo yong ne ko karchi te ta sarwa. He ko gnyang ta par hyoba de la. His Holiness Dalai Lama ze yorwa inji na. And tel ko ta par ha de Dalai Lama ze lo la ngachar tong do sarwa. Te ko ti an chula ke ya je do ya mi dewa. Teni ti lo tang do te ya bu ma hi te ko ta wi no sa te gegin te ke na la do. Te ta be ko gi ngaran so chetang ko lobjong jan ta gegin ke lobjong jan tang to so gegin ran ni ning go ya de kar chimbori ma to so chibo ko sok je de wa na te ta ta ma de pa yo yong go yo ra.
So it's very important to have the pith instructions, and not only in the case of Dharma practice, but also when it comes to study in general. So there's also a story of a child who had a lot of diligence, and he would wake up every morning at 3 a.m, and he would turn on his solar light and study English. And then the teacher would check on him, or the teacher came and went to check on him, and he was saying, "Haha, Dalai Lama, haha, Dalai Lama." And so therefore he wasn't really actually improving much, because he wasn't studying according to what was taught by the teacher. So in that way, it's important to study according to what what it is that we are taught, what to actually follow the instructions. This is very important. In that order,
His Holiness Layate Indian HH Zuga Jodwa, Telkoka Hahazo.
Oh, haha, Dalai. Oh, okay. So now I get it. So he was saying, actually, what he is saying instead of HH Dalai Lama was he was seeing it as haha Dalai Lama, and so that was how he was sort of mistaking how to read that.
That's under you, Yabori, that the young Labjat Sokarchimborido. So
in that way, it's really important to receive the actual training, to study or to practice according to what is taught, and to receive those teachings.
Tanda gomjam tamche la pe karchi mochadu yu song. Kanisina gomjadu nguna je tuba. Je teni tuba de la samba yabu. Samba ke drumdo je. Ta te tabe je ne teni gombe nyamsalangwa yina. Teni gomde chuchu karma nangni ya. Chuchu chek dan nima chek lo gom jab na ya gom te ya yar je hyun ro ju ba pondung la da gom pondung tena yong ju yoris teni ya da ga he jewa ngama la so so ke tenda ke bakcha zambo yong kin tenda yo jeri ta tenda min ba ina hu du tu sam tenda hira hu da ma song ba ina teni yang che so so ke chak chin da jok chin za chin bo gom do la na teni yang cham cham ta so Tara tumuk juran jordogri sung tumuk ju se de tumuk am prayak ju henga o number ma to ngana de de yo sam de ko tanda chi de tini tara gom ja je sar je zo sum sung da da so sarwa tin to go yo mare je zo ju so da ya kon par tang to go yo mare wa o tini tara to some hundred of the Carchimboyens.
So then number 4 is in the lack of hearing and reflection, a meditation is obscured with the darkness of ignorance and false faith for which the meditator does not achieve the goal. This is a deviation. So an alternative way of translating this would be, if former misconceptions are not cut through from study and contemplation, one may deviate into states of mental darkness and meditation. again, this is why it is so important to engage in extensive study and contemplation, because the habits or imprints of delusive mind states or misconceptions and delusion are so thick, or such strong propensities, that it is really important to engage in extensive study and contemplation in order to avoid falling into deviation when it comes to applying the practice or actually engaging in meditation. And there are some who may, have very strong imprints from former lives, and so they may actually be able to not engage in as much study and contemplation, and then to focus more on the meditation. But if there is insufficient study and contemplation, and then they jump into meditating on Mahamudra or Dzogchen, or they might be inclined or really eager to meditate on Mahamudra and Dzogchen, and then actually this just becomes the cause to increase their ignorance or mental darkness, and so they think, oh, I am meditating on the unelaborated view, or I am meditating within a state free from concepts or without a discursive thought. And really, it is without the qualities of clarity, the increasing sort of vivid clarity, and progress, or increase and completion or perfection. And so it ends up only actually increasing ignorance.
Sosola to some Kenyam mi paina, Tintin the Rak Soa Jigiri, to some Garchimbori, Landi, or Korank Gapcho de Labnudos, Korank Tehachi, to some the Chinyon Yuzam, the Ute Tachimbori Lakundoas. The Ratsoa Tintin Jigiri, around Soina Jigirite. Yine Susuk Tehachi, to some the Chinyon Yuna, Tini to some Zachimbori, Landi. Oh, ngune tintin ri sanguri. Ri sangya de karni ri sanguri sina. Lama chik danga chik na danga de na nenga manda huge go to yore. Nenga manda nenga za chimbu hu go to yore. Te tu sang kun driver wa. Te go a te yang de la rintang ha go to yore wa. Te de chikpa ngarang so lama give hini the tepa gori se de Narang na tearing him at that so at Genioa. Lama gave him the courage and mix at Tepachi Goyori, then it on that sama pechan and doa, some sound of so at Genioa, Munetan, then around soon at Jigroa. Tatanga Yapochayo, the human there. That Munetan Ben Rumboch Tavik, take song then. Take the young se Tima Mambo song de wa in a young Teleche Naran's Carrella Gratache Axa Yundoya meet the Jondo. Did take the Nane Taron check drip jiba in a Taron che Sosoke Sapaje go de Wandoche. This at that na Nalatana Yunkandolana can saborgerite Nale Lapa yin Tamjela Yunku Yorua, Ujura. Then do Tandai to some like the massive pinto chimbo. Then ying check Yandonji so can don't go murder. May yink Yandonji don, I'm choke go on the tea quat so long. There are yink so similar pimp mina ye chandoya. The so some to some can ever in the then do.
It's possible that one might think, he is emphasizing the importance of study and contemplation because he has engaged in a lot of study and contemplation himself, and so therefore it is his bias. It's possible that could be a feeling that one could have. But that's normal. Everyone gives rise to thoughts like that. But really, actually, you shouldn't think that way because it is absolutely certain that there really are these extraordinary qualities that come from study and contemplation. Or hearing, listening, and contemplation. So, for instance, when we receive pith instructions from our teacher, and then we understand there are so many sort of layers of meaning and understanding that can come through that. We may even hear the same thing, but then we hear it in a different way every time we hear it. We really give rise to a sort of inner understanding that is maybe unique to our own experience. And so it's important to understand how invaluable this is, how precious that really is. For instance, also Kimbola said, he remembers it in the past, thinking, why is it so important to have faith in the spiritual teacher? I mean, really, everything that we need to know can be found in the text, can be found in the scriptures. But then, actually, for instance, in the process of receiving instructions from a teacher, like, for instance, Rinpoche, Rinpoche might say, one word, and he might even say this same word again and again, and yet it never kind of gets old. Every time we hear it, and Khenpo says, every time he hears the word, it's like a new layer of meaning is understood. It always is something new. There's some new breakthrough or understanding that can come from even just hearing that single word. So he said maybe it's weird for him to talk about his own experience in this way. Surely there are many who have an even more deeper experience than that. But in any case, probably many people can relate. Same goes for when we are reciting texts, when doing recitations. Sometimes the inner meaning of the text can sort of jump out and actually is like a particular medicine in that moment, or there's a deeper layer of meaning or understanding that might be specifically unique to one's own experience too. And that is the result, that is a fruit of having engaging in extensive hearing or studying contemplation.
Kachin watch Konreka Sungdoa, Yangsi Sungre. Konget Naranzo Perna, Hindi and Rawatang, Vajikala Tanda, Kejo Yaba, Kejo Yara record J Yabatini, Tabaran Ninke Sungdoa, Pemsi Ping no Sungdoa. They Konrek take a choga, Nyamni Chitang, Hako Yori. Tene correct sort of Koyorang around Latini, Tene Kong Carapinto and Sungori Sungayori Samna. Take Re in the Samna down the then to Dondayo, but Donda the Carchin, but then Konga the Nagungoyorwa.
So Gari Shinji Dang Vajrakilaya Gi Drupta La Sungyove.
Around to Druba Soy, the Druan so did recall to Jaga the young Sinki Song Kong.
For instance, Garchen Rinpoche sometimes says, that we should always listen to the recordings of the practices, that we do, like for instance, during the Yamantaka Drupchen or the Vajrakilaya, to listen to those recordings, and he himself listens to them again and again. And there, one may have the thought, like what, if we've already done the practice and, recited the sadhana and done the practice, what is the benefit of listening to them again? But actually hearing every single word, so, each time that the word is heard, then there is a deep meaning in each and every word, and so it is regarded as really important.
Take Donda Yinda Ko, Tigdor in the Kare Layo, ko Teletin, so Nyamyong Derndu, Koto Sarbat Jigerwa.
And so understanding each and every word, then when that understanding is united with practice, then it goes so much deeper.
Bernas Money or money, that thing drunk the Zoyo Matoka drunk Mune Marida. Money yours. Money you do Koranic Pagani Hindong Jintongri, Hindong Yua Hindong de la Loma Tang Tane Chapsang Yobake, Hindong Jintongris. Then Majid de Gama Yimba de la Gejat Pagal Karendo Lars Pagal Hindong Jindos. Oh, the Koraniakan Tonya Hindong Rijibar. Then Mutini Hindong den Ramland Rosh. Hindong den Ramland Rodi Tahi Tong Doyak Hindong Getchi EM the Zotan Ravote, Hindong Zal Lib the Yomare. Canis and Aranso Hindong Yarga la Pe, Loma la Peda, Tahi Tong do Young Bon Tong Doyak Dodo Ravote Madoga. Yomaro. Much they get dead some hako yours. Mayimba they get Tambo Pantoya Hindong de Zan Ramlan Rodia Tahikan Tondo, they are on Tonti and Chulasam no get down to Yomarwa. That tender when the Kotusam say they are bit dead and Jibari, some no get Jebachi Tomato Cheper Chimboyoria.
For example, there might be two people and a tree in the distance, a tree with, a lot of leafy foliage, with all the leaves and so on. And one person might ask to the other person, what is that over there? And the other person might respond saying, oh, that is a tree. But then when one person that person thinks, okay, this is a tree. And then they go up close to the tree and they look at the tree and they see it from a completely different perspective. And they see, it no longer has like the same shape as before. It's a completely, each of the branches and the leaves are sort of seen individually as they are, in a completely different or new display of appearance. But the other person or another person may, having developed the concept that is a tree and seen it as a complete form, like in the distance, and then going up to the tree, then they don't really actually see it as anything new, as anything different. They still sort of perceive it as that initial kind of concept that they had of the tree seen from a distance. And so it is kind of like this, the difference that comes as a result of expanding one's awareness or potential with regard to consciousness through study and contemplation or listening and reflecting.
Ta tendan thongnang manda was chungal tin rewa kare yore sena ta penna ngaran cho uman jupa na song yore ngaran cho lin chen kierwa Chotab link here wa jigla, lag duzini the tongo yore, te corans duzini the long the judu, chot the duzana yin in a coranzola lulan trutin, pemisibe yabo yongo yore. Maranzu merke, the link here the church am tongo yore, ko chok chile jam chigi yore, Mr. Dutzik chile chigi yomare. Tama rojina yadake, not a chat tongo yore, te tondi, coranzo ta, not a chat. Sojigan Tondu Sando Yomarwa, then Tong Malova, some Tong Malova yi Tongo Yore. Tene Manya was some Jin Tamjeke, Tenderlin here Della, Trochukuma, the Naram to te some Satisaka Hilla, Mechona Yichan Bando Tena in Tongo Yore. Take around to te the me that Chazogo Chona Yilons Junior Yomara, Kulena Madavardine, Tonsor Madawa, Tonsor Madawalatine, Susula Nyam Yong Madawa Jing. Nyua marawa, nyua zenare ta leg pakchanam ras hegrawa.
So there are such a variety of different perceptions, and this is also explained in the Madhyamaka Avatara when with regard to the different experience that beings have with regard to the same physical substance of water. So those beings in the God realm, so when they see water, then they perceive it as nectar, as divine nectar. And they partake of this divine nectar and are enjoy, and they enjoy and are benefited by this divine nectar. For humans, the same substance is seen differently. It is seen as water, which can still quench thirst when one drinks it. But they don't see it as nectar. It isn't seen as divine nectar, but it is seen as water. And then for those in the realms of hungry ghosts, that same substance, which is perceived by gods as nectar and by humans as water, is actually seen by hungry ghosts as a really unpleasant substance of like pus and blood, and they have no desire or wish to partake of this because it is the unpleasant or disgusting substance of pus and blood. And likewise, those beings in the hell realms see that same substance of water as molten lava, as like a burning fiery substance, like lava, and they don't wish to partake of it. And so in this way, there are so many different ways of viewing the same thing. There are so many different possibilities of perception. And so many different possibilities with regard to experience. And this all is dependent upon the particular conditions which ripen through karmic causes and all the variety of different karmic imprints.
Oh, yeah. May every being ailing with a disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. O simje ne ba chenye ba nyerde ne le da jer jen ro na na ma le ta den jong wa me bar jo chang jo sim jo ram bo je ma je ba na je je ji ba nyam ba me ba ko ne ko de be wa jo. Thank you.